everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet my Scoodie. Now, this pattern was written back in 2015 and we thought it would be a good idea to not only update the pattern but update the videos as well. We've updated the pattern. We've added an extra size, so the Scoodie pattern now has 3 sizes: a small, a medium, and a large. The small is for children, which is about 16 to 18 inches. The medium is for youth, which is about 19 to 20 inches. And then the adult size, which is the large, is about 22 to 24 inches. And the reason we put those different sizes in there, like 22 to 24, is because yarn is very stretchy and everyone likes to wear a hoodie different. Some people like a more fitted hoodie and some people like a more loose fitting hoodie on their Scoodie. So what's a Scoodie or a Scoodie anyway? So what it is it's the combination of a hood and a scarf. So they've taken the word scarf and hood or hoodie and made it Scoodie. This particular pattern has a hood, the scarf, and pockets. And so what we've decided to do in updating our video is we're going to do it in 2 parts. The first part we're going to do is just the hoodie section first. And that's because this is just a basic hoodie. Again, 3 sizes. And although it can be added to a scarf, it can also be added to a poncho, a blanket, a cowl, a wrap. Lots of different ways to use just the hoodie pattern. And we're going to do the hoodie or the hood today. Then in part 2, I'm going to show you how to add the scarf and the pockets. Now you can find the complete pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. For today's demonstration and for the complete Scoodie with the hood, scarf, and pockets, I'm going to be using this yarn. This is Yarnspiration Caron Cakes, and the name of this is called Blueberry Scone. I love using the striping yarns for a project that's big like this. Now this one was made with Bernat Pop. I do not remember the colors. Like I said, it was written quite a few years ago, and I really loved the gray going to the yellow on this one. But I thought the blues and the beiges were really pretty and would make a really nice Scoodie. Now, to make the complete Scoodie, you're going to need between 9 and 12 ounces. And there's a big difference in there because, of course, there's 3 sizes included in the pattern. If you're making the smallest size, about 9 ounces will work. If you're making the medium, about 10 ounces will work. And if you're making the large, you're going to need about 12 ounces. That's for the complete hood, scarf, and pockets. And of course, this is a medium weight number 4 yarn. And you can use any medium weight number 4 yarn that you have on hand. I think it would be beautiful in some of the ombre and other striping yarns as well. We're going to be stitching with our eye hook. The eye hook is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and then the only other things you need besides yarn and hook is a pair of scissors and then a needle for weaving in those ends. Now the pattern has 3 sizes. I'm going to be making the medium size today, and I'll give you the numbers and the counts for the other sizes as well. For the small size, you're going to need to begin chaining 17 chains. For the medium size, you'll need to chain 27 chains. And for the large size, you'll need to chain 37 chains. So we'll begin with our slip knot, and since I'm making the medium size, I'm going to chain 27 chains. And remember, no matter what size you're making, you need to chain this initial chain just a little bit loose. I've chained my 27 chains. I'm going to stitch a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops. Now I'm going to stitch a half double crochet in each of my chains across, and then we'll stitch 2 in the last one. And this is for all sizes, and of course your chain count or your half double crochet count will be different depending on your size. So we're going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of our chains across. I have stitched 1 half double crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each stitch across, and this brings me to my last chain, and in this last chain we're going to stitch 2 half double crochets. Now we're going to turn our work, and we're going to be stitching down what's called the opposite or other side of our chain. And we're going to begin by stitching 2 half double crochets in that first chain. So 1 and 2. And this makes a nice curve around the top, and this is going to be the back of our hood. Now we're going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of those stitches, working down the opposite or other side of our chain. And this is the same for all 3 sizes. One half double crochet in each of the remaining stitches, working down the opposite or other side of our chain. This is how row 1 looks when it's completed. And of course, your stitch count's going to change depending on what size. You're going to have half double crochet stitched down the chain with 2 in the last, and then we moved around to the other side. We stitched 2 half double crochets in the first, and then half double crochets across. Now, if you're doing the smallest size, you're going to have a total of 34 half double crochets around. If you're doing the medium size like I am, you're going to have 54 half double crochets around. And if you're doing the large size, you're going to have 74 half double crochets, and that's all the way around. This is all row 1. Chain 1, and now we're going to turn. We're going to begin by placing a double crochet in the very first stitch. Now we're going to place a single crochet in the next stitch. And what we're going to be doing is alternating all the way around double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet in the next, double crochet in the next, single crochet in the next. So we're alternating double crochet and single crochet. And just to be clear, your double crochet, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. Your single crochet, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and just go through the 2 loops. And by alternating our double crochets and single crochets is what gives us that wonderful texture stitch for our hood. And so for row 2, we're alternating double crochets and single crochets in every other stitch. And we'll work this all the way around our row. This is how row 2 should look. Alternating double crochet and single crochet all the way around. Let me move this string out of the way. I'm just going to loop it to the other side just so that you can see. You'll notice that this curves right here, and that's exactly what we want it to do. This is going to begin to shape the back, although this needs to come on the inside because this is going to be the inside and this is the outside of our scarf, or our hood I should say, not scarf, hood. Now, we began with our double crochets and we alternated single and double all the way around our hoodie. Okay, then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and so we'll be moving back and forth from front to back. Our last stitch was a single crochet, and so now we're going to stitch a double crochet again right in that first stitch. And then here we can see a double crochet, so we're going to stitch a single crochet. And we're going to be alternating double crochets and single crochets. But you want to make sure that when you do this, that you're stitching your single crochet in your double crochet and your double crochet in your single crochet. And that way the pattern lays out nicely and you again get that wonderful texture stitch. All right, got my finger caught in the yarn there. So we're going to basically be repeating row 2. Single crochet, double crochet, alternating every other stitch and making sure that our single crochets are stitched in a double crochet and our double crochet is stitched in a single crochet. And we will repeat this, working all the way around just like we did for row 2 while I get that knot out of my yarn. I've completed row 3, alternating my double crochets and my single crochets, and you can already see what a beautiful, beautiful texture stitch that comes out to be. Chain 1 and turn. And now we're just going to repeat what we did for row 3. Our last stitch was a single crochet, so we're going to start with a double crochet right in that first stitch, and then we'll stitch a single crochet in the next, double crochet in the next, and again for row 4 we're just repeating row 3, alternating our double crochets and our single crochets. And again, the main thing to making this pattern lay nicely and have that wonderful texture stitch is to make sure that your single crochets are stitched in a double crochet and your double crochets are stitched in a single crochet. That's how it lays nice and pretty. All right, so I'm just going to continue this on around for row 4. I've completed row 4, alternating my stitches, double crochets and single crochets, and again, I just really love the texture that this makes. One thing to remember is that your stitch count for the hood is going to be the same on every row. You're not going to be increasing or decreasing for the entirety of the hood. All right, now, one thing I do want to show you is that when you fold this, you can begin to see the shape of the hood. So you're going to continue to repeat row 3 like we did on row 4. And how many you're going to do is according to your size. For the small size, you're going to do 11 more rows. For the medium size, you're going to do 21 more rows. And for the large size, you're going to do 31 more rows. Now, keep in mind, if when you're stitching that you feel like that's not enough rows or it's too many rows, you can always adjust that according to how you stitch or the head that you're making this for. For instance, if you want it just a little bit deeper so that it is a little bit roomier, you can add as many rows as you feel that you need. Now I'm doing the medium size, and so I'm going to stitch 21 more rows onto my hood. So I have repeated row 3 an additional 21 more rows. Once you have done the amount of repeats that you think is needed, chain 1 and turn, and we're going to repeat just one more time. And this gets us over where we need to be, and then we're going to add the trim on our hood. So I'm going to repeat row 3 just one more time, and that's every size you're going to need to repeat row 3 just one more time, double crochet, single crochet, alternating, and then we're going to add the single crochet trim on the front of our hood. So I've added my last row of alternating stitches, double crochets, and single crochets. I'm going to chain 1, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch one single crochet in each of these stitches around. And that's just going to give us a nice edge to our hood. All right, so it doesn't matter what these stitches are. We've chained 1, we'll go right in our first stitch and stitch one single crochet in each of those stitches, working all the way around the front of our hood. One single crochet in each of the stitches around. I've stitched one single crochet in each of those stitches, working around the front of my hood. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, but I'm not going to cut my yarn off just yet. What you need to do at this point is decide, is this your front or is this your front? And I kind of like my front to be this way so that my single crochet stitches are laying like this. All right, so I'm going to flip my hood. I'm going to pull that string there to the inside, because with this stitch that we did the hood out of, the alternating double crochet and single crochet, it looks the same on the front as it does on the inside. But I like the way the single crochet stitches are laying like that on the edge of my hood. And so that way I know this is the outside. But it's up to you in whichever way you prefer. All right. Now we need to tie off our yarn, so we'll go ahead and cut that. We'll take our needle and we'll weave in this end and the one that's on the inside of our hood. So we'll just weave that in, going through stitches and fibers, going back and forth and making sure that that is going to stay nice and secure. And the best way, of course, in my opinion, is to go through stitches and fibers of those stitches. Back and forth 3 or 4 times, and then we'll go to the inside. And what I usually do when I have a string in the center like that is I'll go ahead and tie a knot just to make sure that's going to stay nice and secure. I usually do this on the inside of hats and hoods. Then I go ahead and weave that in so that it's nice and secure. And also, sometimes when you do this technique, you sometimes get a little bit of an opening there. And we want to make sure that that top of our hood is going to stay nice and closed. So we're weaving it in and closing a hole at the same time so we have a nice and tidy hood top. All right. We can cut that. There we go. Now, if you want to add a pom-pom, tassels, whatever you want, that's totally fine to the top of your hood. It's just preference, of course. And so this is the hood to our Scoodie or Scoodie, however you want to say it. And this is part 1 of our Scoodie hooded scarf with pockets. And on part 2, I'm going to show you how to make the scarf and attach it and do the pockets. But I wanted, like I said at the beginning of our video, to do the hood separately because now you have a hood that you can add to a blanket. You can do the size small and add it to a baby blanket. You can add it to a poncho. You can add it to a wrap, a cowl, and of course, a scarf. And this is just a really nice basic hood. See you next time for part 2 of our Scoodie hooded scarf with pockets.